Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast with myself, Billy Moore, and today's special guest is UFC fighter Kailyn Loughran. Kailyn, thanks for coming on, mate.
Anytime, lad, anytime.
All you got to do is make sure. So this is going to be the next Conor McGregor of the UFC. So Kailyn, I've been following you on your Instagram, and I've seen you, getting along with your fights, your MMA, and now you became a part of the UFC. So tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience gets to know who you are.
My name is Caolan Loughran. I'm from rural part of a place called Tyrone, Ireland. It's kind of like the fields outside Belfast, middle of nowhere. And I've been fighting my whole life, really, lad. And moved over here to Liverpool 4.5 years ago. Recently signed with the UFC and took on a loss. As I'm here now, but I know, just normal lad from middle of nowhere, lad, basically, and just worked hard and got himself to where he wanted to be. You know what I mean?
So how old are you now?
27 now, lad.
So you're a young man, right? And how many fights have you had in total? MMA,
well, as a pro now, I'm 9-1. So 8-1. Only 8-1's not my record. No exhibition thing, but. I've loads of fights from amateur, all MMA. Though, never fought anything else. Trained boxing and stuff, but I only fought MMA. But I've fighting a long time now, lad.
So MMA, so 8-1
as a pro, aye.
As a pro, and out the day, what happened there? Tell us a little bit about. Go through the
so
process.
Basically, in the regional scene, so it's very, very hard to get matched if you're like a prospect, because you would say if I'm like 0-0 or 1-0 even, it doesn't make much sense for a guy to take a fight with me. It's different when you're 6 and 7. No, it means to beat me, but to be if I'm 1-0, it's very hard to get matched regionally, because a win over me means nothing, and then it's obviously a risky fight. So the first 2 fights I had were against complete cans, guys who were coming to lose basically, but that's just to get your record up, because couldn't get matched regionally. COVID then happened, which was I suppose for everyone fucking a tough time. So I got no fights. So I was over here in Liverpool with no fights, no job, no way of making money, other than just literally all I could do was train. And came out of COVID. Within the COVID, 23 years old, 2 or 3-0, just feeling like ready to go. Came out of COVID to feel like I lost 2 years of competing, but my skill set was a lot higher. Same with the promotion called Cage Warriors, which would be the main promotion in Europe. The number one way, it's the way to solidify yourself as a top guy in Europe to get the UFC contract. And ran through that promotion, made it clear that I was the top guy in Europe. Finished everybody, became Cage Warriors champion in May over in Rome. Fought a hometown guy, was fucking nuts. And then the UFC seen that and knocked them out in the second round, signed me up. And then that was it. Then you basically make yourself the top. You just fight. So in boxing, like the fight I had in Cage Wars would never happen. I was 8-0. I was 7-0. He was 9-0. That wouldn't really happen. 2 prospects would never fight on the way up. But in MMA, it's like a fucking game of snakes and ladders. You're just gonna fight the best. Someone's gonna fall. Someone's gonna climb up, and that's just the way it's gonna be. So I was able to solidify myself as top guy in Europe, and then the UFC picked me up.
So this UFC, when you got picked up, so what was your feelings with that? Because you sign a contract. What's the contract on the UFC? Is it the first 3 fights?
I signed a 4-fight deal.
So you got a 4-fight deal. So they pay you for a 4-fight deal. Yeah. So what I've noticed with the UFC, like the likes of Molly McCann, I don't think she's no longer in the UFC, is she?
I think she is, she's just not been active. No,
she's not been active. Yeah. She's either she is or she's not. I'm not too sure. I haven't spoken to her for a little bit.
She actually is. She could be retired. You could be right. I don't know.
Yeah. But what I do know is that you sign a a 4-fight deal.
Yeah.
So you got them 4 fights either way, whether you win or lose.
People get sacked if it doesn't go well.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
they can just leave you. Like if you lose 2 or 3 in a row, they can just get roaded. Like
they're ruthless. They are ruthless. Like I've noticed that. So if you like Paddy, and always like he classes himself as the cash cow. He's Paddy's he hasn't lost 3-0. So he's had 3 fights. His last fight was a tough one. I think he knows that one. He hasn't had a fight since, but he's still on high end with the UFC. So for yourself now, you've had your first fight.
Yeah.
Right. You went all the way. Now your opponent. Tell us a little bit about your opponent. Your debut UFC fight. What was he like?
Very experienced man. I had a crazy week. It was 2 weeks ago today, the fight. Back down in Liverpool, back in the gym. But the UFC tried to give me a good fight, and on the Monday night he pulled out. They matched me well. On the Monday night he pulled out, and then there was a 45 fight and a 35 fight, which my weight class fell through as well. Weight class or visa or something. So the UFC just put us all together and said, did you want this fight? So basically I went from fighting a prospect similar to myself, which was, I thought, quite an easy fight, to fighting a veteran who's now 4-1 in the UFC. I just thought we took a chance, lad. Different style, but came up short. But I don't regret it, lad. That he's see, these veterans, you just learn so much. Like the wee things, just the margin's so small. Just take so much from just the wee subtle things that he was doing. Just learned so much from it. He's very good records in 19-3 or something. 4-1 in the UFC now. Yeah. So I have a very tough fight, but it was close.
It's an elite game, isn't it? The UFC. It is an elite.
Absolutely. Well, like, you don't have to look too far for like motivation. Like, we literally have one champion from here, Leon from Birmingham. Literally lost his debut, 1-2 I believe, and then lost again. Do you know what I mean? It's not. People lose in the sport. Anyone knows like people will slit you for a loss, taking a bit of heat now from Frenchville, which is cool, I don't mind. But anyone that actually knows the UFC knows that it's the best fighting the best. People lose all the time, you know what I mean?
But you did say, I'm going to say you did lose only on a decision.
Yeah.
It wasn't a knockout, it wasn't a stoppage.
No, it was stopped.
It wasn't a tap out.
No, you're like, I've lost before. I hate to say it because I'm a competitor, but you probably will lose again. Like, being honest, like it's part of the sport, like, but it is fucking shite.
So how did you feel? I mean, like, going into that fight, did you feel strong? Did you feel ready?
Never felt better. Yeah. Never felt better. Felt wake up was smooth enough. Cut quite a bit of weight, so no, I felt I've no excuses. The opponent stylistically would like to. It went from being an orthodox to a southpaw, a kicker to a mover boxer. Very, like, there's a lot changed in the style of opponent, but no, I felt unbelievable. Even like mentally and confidence, and the moment it wasn't affecting me, even though like it was the walkout and all the French people booed the fuck out of me.
I seen that, yeah.
Like,
so
never really affected
was this
me.
in Paris? Was it?
Paris, lad.
Yeah, so
Paris.
It didn't seem to bother you. Kind of welcomed it.
Yeah, no, I love that, lad. Love the whole show of it, like, but just he just beat me in MMA. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't honouring. He won that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's the next step here now? Where are you going? Have you got another opponent lined up? Is it too soon to be announcing anything? Obviously,
I only literally got back to Liverpool there on Wednesday night, but I want to fight in December. See, like, walk around in a loss. It's just not. It's a weird one because I realised stuff to work on. Need to train in the gym. You know what I mean? It's just saying to Colin, like, what he actually thinks to do. Should I sit and train? Which is obviously need to do, but then I also need to fight. I need to compete, and I can't be walking around as a loser. So it's like, which is better? But I want to fight in December, and I see a show was announced last night in China. That'd be cool. That'd be a good experience.
What's that?
UFC announced a show last night in China in December 8th or December 9th. Sorry, so that would be perfect timing for me to do that. You know.
So is that where you'd like to be going to? China to fight in December? Yeah.
Class.
So, you know, and you know, this is going to be something that, you know, another challenge for you. You're going to be in this one, haven't you, lads? You're going to be bringing something home. Like you said, you don't want to be walking around with a loss.
Yeah.
And once your momentum kicks in, and you start getting them wins.
Yeah.
then you're gonna start like
Going to the top. I don't. Actually, sounds stupid. I actually left it more confident, if that makes sense. Because I seen like that guy was in the UFC years. He was literally in the UFC before I was an amateur.
yeah.
He left the UFC to be a boxer. Apparently, I didn't even fucking know this, but he left the UFC and he's got like a top 10 record. It was a very close fight. I know if I had time prepared, I know I could beat him. So now, if anything, I obviously knew I had holes and stuff to work on, but if anything, I'd actually leave it more confident that I can reach the top of the UFC. That probably sounds stupid to some people, but that's the truth, you know.
No, why does it sound stupid?
No, people will be like, "Oh, you lost," but I actually do. I swear to God, I know my level now. If that makes sense.
Who's in your weight class?
Sean O'Malley's the champion.
Is he?
And about frizzy hair. He's always been a dream fight for me. Like, but on a loss, you can't talk too much. But that's still absolutely want to fight that guy 1,000,000%.
And how many fights do you think you've got to get through to get to him?
Well, now again being on loss, I probably have to win about 8, 9 before anywhere near that. So long way away. But
yeah, and it's mad, isn't it? Because in the UFC, you only have like what 3 or 4 fights a year, if that.
Of 3, I like 3. Like that gives you a long time like to improve in between them, but you're still active. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like being out of, like when you come back from COVID, it was almost like, holy fuck, this is happening type thing. You're back in the cage. So I like to be 3's active, but you're also getting like 3 months or so in between to improve. You know what I mean? So I like 3 a year. That's cut a lot of weight, so you don't do it too often.
So it'll be a couple of years before you get to that.
Oh, I plan to be in the UFC 6-7 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my plan.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, what was it like for you as a kid growing up? So, let's just take a little step back. Belfast, on the outskirts of Belfast in the country, yeah?
Yeah.
So, a young lad, you know, did you have like trouble where you came from? Was you
Very different than Liverpool where I'm from. Like, no real crime. Well, there would have been at a time, obviously, where I'm from, East Tyrone would have been a rough time, but I grew up in Allad, grew up a farm in the middle of nowhere. Like, I wasn't. People always try to make these like fights to make these sauces. I never really had anything like that. I was, of course, in a bit of bother in school. Of course, got into scraps going up, but I had a 100% childhood. Played a sport called Gaelic football. You know it?
Gaelic? Oh, that was you like rugby?
Aye.
Yeah.
So I grew up really in rural Tyrone playing that, boxing on the side, the training boxing, and working on a farm. Really, there was no real trouble. It was a bit of a dickhead in school. I was a bit the height of it, but I had 100% of an upbringing. You know what I mean? So
there was nothing sinister in the background. No, no crime on the.
It's very different from like actually it was quite eye-opening for me when it came to Liverpool, to be honest.
So what's your experiences of coming to Liverpool from that kind of environment, and then you land here in Scousland?
Yeah, well, obviously when I first moved here, literally had £150 in the bank. Literally didn't know one person, and had a one-way flight, no house, nothing. I slept in the gym for 9.5 months. Literally slept in the old cowbon in a wee room in the back, it was like a dark box, me and a Brazilian boy. It's mad. But that was the best thing I ever done. People look at me as if I'm fucking nuts when I tell them that. Like, literally slept in the back of the gym, but that's like character building for me. That was like, I was literally 10 foot away from the mat every morning, and I had no excuse. I was literally, every class was on, sure I might as well go out and do it. I'm sleeping there, so you know, it was literally like this place. I'd nowhere to stay, so that was like, I look back and think, like, if they're the bad times, like, you know what I mean, what's the fucking good times? You know what I mean? I'm really happy I'd done that. Literally 9.5 months. That was tough, but so that's when you grow, isn't it? Stuff like that, I think, anyway, because like, you're putting yourself, I literally could have stayed home, been the cool lad in my whole, I lost, that's why I came here. I lost in the amateurs, my last loss, 2018. My wrestling wasn't good enough at the time. Man, this team Don Caolan Loughran was the number 1 gym, the most UFC fighters. So I was like, fuck it, I could stay living with me mum and dad, be the cool kid in my town, walk around, people know you, thinking you're cool, on a loss, being like that. Or I could go here, not know anybody, no money, live in the gym and just fucking get beat up by UFC fighters every day. I chose that, and it was the best decision I ever made. I literally wouldn't. I maybe could have won a Cage Warriors title or something back home, but I wouldn't be a UFC level fighter if it wasn't for Caolan Loughran and these guys. So, best decision I ever made.
Yeah. So who fights out of Cabon? You got like.
Well, the gym has been. It's had from the days of Terry Adam, Mark Scanlon, Isaac got Tom Aspinall, Darren Till, Mike Grundy more recently. So a lot of young guys coming up now, but I've had. I think I'm the 11th UFC fighter. Colin said.
So you got Darren Till. Tom Aspinall,
Mike Grundy. Used to have Paul Kelly.
I've had Tom Aspinall on before. Tom, yeah, Tom shit in there. He was fucking massive. Tom,
bigger than me.
big old lump Tom, lovely fella. So Tom was there. Mark Scanlon, he sat there across from myself, and another lovely fella.
Oh, he is out of power suits.
Yeah, he's got something about him. Mark.
Nice.
Darren, I've never met Darren. Never come across him.
Wingnut.
No,
not job.
Yeah, never met him.
Good guy.
I'd like to get hold of Darren sometime. I've had like a Paddy. Paddy was on prior to becoming in the UFC.
Oh really?
So I had him. I think he was fighting in the York Hall.
Yeah.
On one fight, and then he was heading towards the UFC. So we had him.
Now he's bigger, probably.
No, yeah. You know, he was our football manager the other week on a game of footy. Basically, yeah, we got beat like.
He's flying. Man.
So it's great to have like I Nick Peet. I've had Nick Peet. Don't you know Nick?
Yeah, no, man.
Nick's great stuff. He's been here. He's knowledgeable around all the UFC, all the MMA, the boxing. He's done a little bit in his own time as a young kid. So it's interesting to get different. Molly, I've had Molly here. So Molly twice, I think. No, yeah. Which is interesting. So it's nice to have like a variety.
Yeah.
You know, people. I've had a kid from Ireland, 7 times world champion, bare knuckle boxer.
Oh really?
Jimmy Sweeney.
Don't know. I never watched the bare knuckle in my life.
Yeah.
Tough game that.
He used to fight out of Four Corners.
Did he?
Yeah, a few years ago, Jimmy.
What's I said? Gilly, sir?
Yeah, Gilly knows him. Gilly put me on to him. Mark Diakassi.
Not sure of again. I heard that.
He is hard work, Mark. I like Mark, but he couldn't get a fucking word out of him. Know what I mean?
Enough?
No, he was just. I think, and I believe he's got a great story. You know, because he come from the Congo. Yeah, he come from the Congo, and he's fighting for his family and stuff. And I think he was reluctant. He kind of got camera shy. So you had no issues growing up. You came here. You lived in a fucking gym.
Yeah.
How was that, lad? I mean. What did you do for fun? Like apart from getting that must to me it doesn't sound like a life. It's like
no, there was
coming out of a bedroom in the back of a gym or off of whatever you're sleeping on.
It's a bunk bed.
A bunk bed onto a mat.
Yeah.
Fucking how many times a day? So what? So at the end of the day, you know, where'd you go? Did you go for something to eat? I
literally had no money, lad. I work. I was. I say character building experience. No TV, no anything in the place. It was literally a room. There's me and a Brazilian, actually, and one of my coaches, Ali. I used to work on the weekends for in a bar, like to make some sort of like talk about food. But honestly, lad, it was my first year in Liverpool. I didn't do much other than train. The whole 2019 was like the gym, the bed. And then maybe I walked to Asda down Smithdown. That was with the height of it, lad. But no, it was just, again, my skill level just skyrocketed because you're just literally 2 minutes, not even, you're fucking literally 30 seconds for the mat. Every class. If you're not even training, you're probably just sitting watching the class, you know what I mean? So, unbelievable experience. I actually, at the dorms came in to Four Corners here now, I think I could nearly, even now I've made a wee bit of dough here that I'm going to in the UFC now, but it's just good for your mind. I think you're just on it. Like it's preparation. Like I think fighters, like struggle is the best thing for a fighter. I think you can have like discipline. Struggle is just good. Like I like going home now because like people can't. Everybody's like everybody wants to be your mate, and you're like I like to go get away from that. Do you know what I mean? Like I know all the top. Like Usyk goes up the middle of nowhere in a mountain. Fucking Islam Makhachev at the top of my game, he builds a camp literally way up in Russia, up a fucking mountain, just like to get away from it. So now I think struggle's good for a fighter. So I'm really happy on that, lad. To be honest, really happy on that.
Has anyone ever said that you look like Lee Duffy?
Lee Duffy, lad, yes. I don't know who this is. I've been tweeted this about 20 times. I don't know who that is, lad. But I've been said that. I've told that a few times.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there thinking, fucking hell. I'm going to have to get you on a little clip in a minute at the end.
I get tweeted that right, but I swear I don't know who he is.
Yeah, you don't know who he's dead now, Lee, but I believe he was quite notorious in fucking damn Newcastle, Middlesbrough or somewhere where he's, you know what I mean? He was quite a fucking violent man.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you've got that look. You've got the Lee Duffy look.
No, I've been told that, but I don't even know who he is. I probably should look it up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's another. So you definitely do. You definitely do look like him. But yeah, so it's hats off to you for like having the tenacity and the consistency and the stickability.
That's how to get good at any, isn't it? Just because it's just sticking out of it, keeping every morning, every night, whatever. Find what you're obsessed with and just go at it with. And that's what my advice would be. You know what I mean? It's the only way you're gonna get good at anything.
Yeah, and you've got that shape, you've got that build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got that kind of like you're small. You're in there. What's your best attack? Is it striking, getting people down on the mat? Bit of everything.
Doing MMA a long time. I like pressure, like counter boxing and top pressure. My last guy out jabbed me. I tried to take him down because of the late change. The back when I won the Cage Wars title, fought an elite level wrestler, knocked him out. So the way the game's going, lad, you can't really have a preference. I think you have to be fit to change it up per opponent. In my opinion, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like you look at it, you think from an outsider's point of view, you think, fucking hell, it's like,
especially in the UFC, like, because you can be fighting a Brazilian, you can fight an ADCC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt world champion. But you don't want to take him down. Do you know what I mean? You have to fit the box with him. You can fight a glory kickboxing world champion. Well, it's probably smarter to take him down. Do you know what I mean? So I feel morning and night has to be skills based. You can alter it, but striking every day and grappling every day. In my opinion, you can't. Like people who like sacrifice session for like an S&C or a fucking run. I think that's your third session. You have to be working grappling, striking every day. If you want to do additional, it has to come like outside of that. In my opinion, run before your sessions, do S&C after, but you have to work on the skills morning and night, or you're not going to be good enough. You're not. I'm going to beat you, put it that way, because we're working the skills morning and night. So.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
So in your corner, who's in your corner? And
Colin Hearn, John Gillies, and Mike Grundy.
So you've got a good solid corner.
Fucking
John, he's solid. He's in the gym, training himself.
Quality.
Fucking machine. I've seen his videos. He's non-stop.
He's been there, done it, didn't he? He's 100 fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, John's
all K1 boxing, Muay Thai. He's done it.
And on them pads, he's fucking lethal. You know.
No, honestly, like the man I have, like Colin Hearn, like literally 40 years experience. Mike Grundy, 26 years wrestling experience. John Gillies, I don't know how 20 odd.
K1, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way to do it. Like them men have been there, done it, made mistakes, learned.
What was the advice or the guidance they gave you after the fight? What was the pep talk? Because was it like, how did they feel, and what was the feedback going forward?
See, like I went home after the fight, but like say no fighting, fighting. It's nothing you can say to a fighter immediately after. In my opinion, it's like, oh, you're gonna be back on this year. Fighter isn't gonna hear that shit. No. You know what I mean? And Colin all knows it there. Like I've been back this week doing Jiu-Jitsu class there with Colin, alright, doing a ghillie striking class just chatting with like Mike and Ali, just like conversing over grappling technique yesterday, what you should have done in the fight, what you should have done this year. And that was because I came back to the gym, I was like almost like dreading. I was like, fuck's sake, because I haven't never lost since I moved here. I haven't lost a round since fucking 2018 maybe. Literally haven't. I swear on my life. So I was like kind of thinking, fuck me, I'm back here half a loser. But like, see, being home and stuff, and now you did make not rich or anything like that, made a bit of dough with that fight, and everybody knows you. Like, you grew up, you think you want that, you think you want like money and fame and stuff, but even you're on a loss, it doesn't fucking matter to me, But then you come back in the gym and you start training over the things you've done wrong, and that's like, you actually, not that you realise, but you almost remind yourself like what actually love. What I actually, you know what I mean? It's the skill of the game. When I fucking 10 years ago, when I fucking someone took me back and choked me out, I'm like, right, what happened there? Well, this kid was a 20-something fight veteran. He beat me. So it's kind of like, right, what happened there? It's not really like, oh, are you okay? Nothing like that. That's just more just like, how do we get better type thing. You know what I mean, that's what I'd rather.
No, and I think the UFC would see something like that as well.
Oh no, they thought it was class because they got like fucking million views for the middle fingers and they got there, and then obviously helped them save the show. So they were happy that way. You know what I mean? Yeah,
of course. You know, so they're looking forward to seeing Kailyn. In action, and I'm thinking, you know, I believe in shitting across from someone who's gonna go fucking places.
I've no doubt, lad.
I've got no doubt in you, mate. You know, I've seen how you train on your gram. You know what I mean? I've seen that you're committed and you're consistent, and you know, there's fire in your soul.
Lad, now more than ever. Fucking now more than ever, lad. It's a bastard losing, but that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sport. It is, and it is. It's the loneliest sport.
Aye, lad, aye. You have a team obviously in the build up and the training and everything, but when you're walking to the cage, there's no turning back. Like, it's fucking you. It's the best thing you could ever put yourself through. I think, like, it's you're going out half naked in front of the world with a pair of 4-ounce gloves, bare shin, bare elbow. It takes a special person. Like, you know, I respect anybody who'll do it. Like, but once you do it, it's like addictive. You can't nothing like replicate. For me anyway, nothing replicates it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Brilliant. Right, so you're a young man, you've got years ahead in the game.
Yeah.
So what are your plans now? You've come back from your fight, you know, so you're hoping to get a fight in December in China. So in the meantime, is it just training? Is it
just training, lads? Because I say, I don't have a fight, I don't have to be like flying fit now. I don't have to be like fucking 39 resting hard. I don't have to do that there. Just skill. What went wrong? Fucking a lot that I need to work. I knew before going into the fight, like I wasn't anywhere near that. Like, just keep on the journey, lad. Get better at boxing, get better at jiu-jitsu, get better at wrestling. Just learn, listen to my coaches, apply myself as best I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then when you get a fight, you start up, spar more, run more, stuff like this. You know what I mean? But lad, just fucking live the life.
And what's life like now? You're not living in a back room of a gym. Have you got like a little place?
I have a place out in Anfield there. It's not just the gyms that are here, so 5-10 minute drive. I still don't do much else, like, especially when you're in camp, like, just going to and from the gym. But it's a bit easier now. Like, I'm not rich, like, but I'm not completely skint, and I love it over here. Love the life I live over here, because of course you miss home and stuff, but like, I just love the discipline, getting up, going to and from the gym, training with top level guys, top level coaches. So
well, is the pay good in the UFC? Is it better than the MMA? Is it the best paid checks that you get all round?
Okay, at the top. Well, maybe the lower level at Bellator's easier to make like a living, but
so Bellator you could make a living.
Okay, but you may make, if you're winning Bellator, it's probably easier to get a check. But if you get the elite levels of the UFC, that's for the real dough is, like, you know.
Yeah, you're talking millions, aren't you?
Okay, people always talk about like fighter pay and stuff, but like, me and my brother, he's over in Liverpool, he's a full-time fighter. Like, had never made a bean. And he everyone always complaining about fighter pay, and then he goes to me, what are you in bed in the towel? And we bust out laughing. He goes, what a lift. So we thought this was class. Like, we'd literally never made a fucking run, you know, this thing. So only until this year. But I'm happy enough. To do this, to eat, it's even like weird, like, I was doing this long before money was in it, like, you know what I mean? So to get getting paid, this seems mad. Like, it seems mad to me. I don't know. So I do it for free. For God, you know what I mean?
Fucking get paid for something you love to do, isn't it?
Literally, aye.
So, right, we're coming to the end, but I've had, you know, like I said, it's been lovely. Keep brief. Big shouts out to Flux Active Wear.
100%, eh? Yeah. Should burn
it. Yeah. You know the script. And what I'll do is I'll put all your details, Kailyn, in the description.
100%.
People can follow you. All your socials will be on there.
Yeah, man.
And you know what, mate? I believe and I wish you well in your career. And thanks for taking up the time.
Anytime, love.
Absolutely loved it. Right.
Anytime.
Take it easy.